Feeling nervous. You get the less stress you feel because I started to be like, I don't care. If any little thing goes wrong, doesn't matter. Like whatever your wedding budget is in your head that you're thinking of spending, like double that, and that's, no, don't do that. Everything was so perfect and so awesome, so beautiful, and it was the best weekend ever. Welcome to this Q&A video. I'm feeling shy. I'm feeling nervous doing a sit-down video, Brody. I never do this anymore. And I figured we should have a full wedding debrief, recap, Q&A, sit-down video for you guys because there's just not enough hours in the day to share all of my thoughts, share all the photos and videos. Like I have so much to say, and I spoke for like almost 2 hours on my podcast. And I afterwards was thinking of all the things that I missed and didn't talk about, and I still have like unlimited content to share. So without further ado, we're just gonna jump on in, try to pick out questions. You guys ask questions on my Instagram that I haven't touched on as much on my podcast. You and I boogie. We get it. So that, yeah, I could answer some new ones, and yeah, in no particular order, just wrote down a bunch that you guys were asking. I tried to pick the ones that I saw multiple times. So here we go. I'm nervous. I never do these sit-down videos anymore. Okay, first one. Can you show us the Brody art? Yes, I can. I actually grabbed the original and our save the date. So basically, and I don't want this to be a million years long. I know this video is gonna be long because I am long-winded. Long story short, we have a family friend that does watercolor artwork and reached out to her very early on because we just knew that this would be perfect. We love our venue so much. CBI is just so iconic and beautiful and like scenic when you pull up, and I was just like, oh my gosh, the view of like the main inn with the hydrangeas all around is so gorgeous. Here you can see what I'm talking about. This is like her original piece that she like hand watercolored. We worked with her and we're like, wait, you know what? Send her some pictures of Brody. We were like, could you throw Brody on the steps with a little black bow tie? And it turned out perfect because we knew that we wanted this kind of like custom element to be a part of our save the dates, and we ended up using it for so many things. For save the dates, we used it as the envelope liner. For our invitations, we used it on our wedding weekend cocktail napkins. I might be missing more things that we put this on because it just turned out so perfect. So I also grabbed our save the dates to show you guys. I remember right when we were doing it, I wanted to show, and I was like, dang it, we can't really show because obviously it's the date, and this is literally of our venue, and we were just trying to like keep it private leading up to it to, yeah, have some privacy. Like it turned out so perfect, and I'm so glad we made that decision very early on in wedding planning to have that. And yeah, so that is the Brody artwork. Why am I feeling like I'm forgetting something else that we put on? I feel like we thought about doing wedding weekend t-shirts, but we pivoted to hats, which I will show you next. What were your welcome gifts? So we had a bunch of little things. I wrote down the list because I didn't want to miss one. From the very beginning, Max and I were really focused on guest experience, if you will, at our wedding, which is funny because it's obviously wedding is not about that. It's about your next chapter together as husband and wife and celebrating your love and all that. But I think because we've been to a bunch of weddings, there's a bunch of things that we did want to do, didn't want to do, and I feel like there's just like highlights and memories that stick out to us at weddings. Like we'll never forget these amazing things being a guest that you get to experience. So we, you know, wanted really nice like wedding favors that they actually would use and would like, and not just junk or little things I'll talk about more, like handwritten notes to all of our guests. I'm so glad we did that because I went to a wedding where the bride and groom wrote handwritten notes to every single guest, and I will never forget that moment, walking into the reception, seeing all the notes on all the plates. My jaw was on the floor, and I'll never forget how special I felt, and so I really wanted our guests to feel that way as well. And it was worth the hand cramping and all the time that it took. But focus, Gretchen, welcome gifts. We did these custom custom lobster cookies that we did with like a local bakery, I think in Dennis, and they were like lobster shaped cookies with a G and an M on the claws, and I just thought it was like coastal and fun and like a little treat, but also had us. I'm gonna put a picture here of a photo that had most of our welcome gifts. I don't even know if we got a photo with like all of them, but yes, we got these big woven totes on Minted as well. We did like all of our paper through Minted, but they have even more that people realize, more than just like day of paper and stationery and stuff like that. So I found these big packs of like, we got 100 or 200 big woven totes that I thought would be so nice, and I was like, oh, more people can use these. Then the next day we had a beach day, and so many people were using their totes and said they're, so I'm so glad we got those. We did custom Brody hats, which turned out amazing, and I'm so glad we got these. That's cute, buddy. I'm so glad we did this. like a navy blue kind of vintage wash style hat. We just did our date, 72525 on the back. It was just so fun for all of our guests to get, and there were times when we were like, oh my gosh, this is gonna work out. It's kind of stressful. Like, are they gonna get delivered in time? By the way, so many people ask where these are from. Go on Etsy. There are so many sellers on there to do custom hats, and they all end up looking, I mean, just look maybe depending on exactly what you're thinking. If you want the printing on the front and the back, if you want like the stitched logo like this, how quick you want in time. So we were like, are they gonna come in time? Like, it was just stressful. And then we were like, wait, like, do we love them? We were second guessing. We're like, are people gonna love it? I mean, it was so fun by the end of our welcome party how like everyone had them on and just everyone wore them all weekend. So glad we did that. We did peach mango Nantucket nectars, like those fun. They just seemed like coastal little drinks, like a little juice. Water bottles for everyone. Cape Cod chips, because obviously we're in Cape Cod, just a little sprinkle of Cape Cod. Of course we had to do that. I didn't even think we were gonna do this. I think last night our wedding planners got some taffy that they had in jars, like on our welcome party gifting bag station. I wanted it to feel honestly like an influencer event. Like, I'll never forget obviously going to influencer events, and there will be like an attendant making like a goodie bag for you, and it's just like such a fun experience. So I want our guests to have that at our welcome party. Our wedding planners grabbed some taffy, I think locally in Chatham. What is it called? Candy Manor? I think that's what it's called. Oh my gosh, I'm having like a brain freeze that I can't think of that. And I think they just got a bunch of taffy there, so that was so fun. They were like sprinkling those in the welcome bags and just like on the counter, and they were really cute. Lastly, which I'm so glad that we did, had a bunch of Element. I mean, like 300 of these packets laying around, because if you guys didn't know, these are the best electrolytes ever. Thank you so much, Element, for partnering with me on this video. They're just so good. You can see right there, that's what's in them, and I think they're the best quality electrolytes. They are so clean, and they don't have sugar and all that added crap that like other electrolytes have. When I tell you, you feel night and day like difference when you are taking Element versus when you're not. Especially I think back to my half marathon training last year. Oh my gosh, because they help with headaches, fatigue, cramping, all the things, and being well hydrated during a long wedding weekend marathon is so important. So I knew our guests would love this. Also help with hangovers if you're drinking alcohol. So if you are an athlete, if you are sweating a lot in the summer, if you like to drink alcohol, basically everyone will benefit from trying out Element. If you haven't before, again, they're my favorite electrolytes. I think they're the highest quality. I love what they're doing. And also just have to say as well, their customer service is amazing. No questions asked. If you don't like trying out Element, they'll refund your order. Like, they are so good. They have so many good flavors. Love the citrus salt. Max loves this one. He also loves the orange. I love the orange, the grapefruit. I've been in a big watermelon kick. All their flavors are so good. You can't go wrong. So I'll have Element linked down below. If you go to drinkelement.com/Gretchen Geraghty, I know you can get a free sample pack with any purchase. It's like an 8-count different flavor variety sample pack, so definitely try out Element. They're the best ever. Our guests were like raving about these. They were like, yes, the best electrolytes ever. I've gotten all my friends and fam on, so yes. Next up, you guys were asking about my nail color and nail colors for my bridesmaid. So it was funny because my content creator, shout out BTS Bride, Stacey was the best. She was taking pictures at our rehearsal dinner. We were out on the deck putting together our nails. We're like, oh my gosh, they all look the same. And then I think I was getting a lot of messages of people thinking we all got the exact same nail color, which we didn't. It all just ended up looking the same because it was all like this, like a very natural light pink. So they all looked like the same in photos. And I think that's what I said to them. I was like, guys, you would think I'd be bridezilla. Like, I've been at weddings before where they're like, we want all bridesmaids to wear silver jewelry and this exact nail polish and hair exactly this way. And I was like, I want you guys to feel beautiful, confident, happy, thriving. I just want you to feel like you, and I don't care what jewelry you wear. Really don't care about your nails. Maybe nothing like bold and crazy, just like simple, neutral, light pink, tan, like whatever. So everyone just ended up with light pink. I'm like, wear your hair in any way you want. Wear any yellow dress, like I literally don't mind. So yeah, it ended up turning out that way. But I would say they were all very much like that bubble bath, funny bunny combo from OPI. OPI Lisbon wants more. Mine specifically, I went to a Russian nail manicure place, and so they didn't have the OPI colors I was used to, but I remember my light pink color was called Lisbon. And I believe it was, I would say it was like most similar to Lisbon Wants More from OPI. that helps. So yeah, we all had different nails. They just ended up being like a very similar light pink shade. This is how to combat feeling stressed and overwhelmed. Okay, see, I have so many thoughts about this. It's crazy, the closer we got to the wedding date, I actually felt a lot less stressed and overwhelmed. Like, you would think you'd get more stressed and overwhelmed as time goes on. I would say early on, being so far out and like so many decisions swirling in my head and putting so much pressure on myself made me feel so stressed and overwhelmed. And I wish I could go back and tell Gretchen, don't worry, it's all gonna work out. And everyone tells you that as a bride, but you're like, no, and you like are so hard on yourself to get it all right. And like, what even is right? Like, it doesn't matter, it's your day, you can make it however you want. So okay, to not be stressed and overwhelmed, of course, all the self-care things we already know and love, you know what I mean? Like, drink water, stay hydrated, drink your element, get enough sleep, like prioritize sleep and rest, because you just feel like a chicken with your head cut off and not good if you're not sleeping. You know, eating nutritious whole meals. Like, you can get, I feel like brides get so busy and are so on the go and have so much going on, but it's like, don't forget to take care of yourself. Like, that's what matters probably the most. And if that's meditating, walking your dog outside, getting some movement in, all those things I feel like just help, just like taking care of yourself, stay in that routine. Also, just know, hopefully you feel like me, that the closer you get, the less stress you feel, because I started to be like, I don't care if any little thing goes wrong, doesn't matter. It's just my wedding day. Like, it's one day and it's gonna be great, and it's really about me and Max celebrating our love. So God forbid it rains. It rains, whatever, nothing I can do about it. And it did end up raining in our ceremony. I swear, you guys, for 2 whole years, I would say every day, it can rain at any point in my wedding weekend. It can rain the day before, it could rain the morning of, it could rain the day after. It just cannot rain for the 30 minutes during our ceremony. Guess the only time it rained during our wedding weekend, 30 minutes during our ceremony. I was like, why? Because the only time that I was so specific, I wanted us to be outside, I wanted to be perfect, ended up raining. But you know what, even that, I look back and I'm glad that happened in a way, because I remember in that moment being like, you've got to be kidding me. Why am I feeling a raindrop? We just started our ceremony. This is the only time it's not allowed to rain. This was not on the radar. What is going on? But it made me be like, you know what? Like, I don't know how to put it into words. It made me feel so present and so like, it's out of my control, and it is what it is. And I just kept feeling like, we are here now. In this moment, I am here. We're all here. Everyone's getting handed umbrellas. It's all okay. It is what it is, you know? So a sprinkle didn't ruin the day, and if anything, all of our guests, maybe they were just being nice. They're like, it made it so intimate and cozy and special. It felt like a sign from your dad. You and Max were huddled up this close doing your vows under an umbrella. So even when things do go wrong, inevitably little things will go wrong. Doesn't matter, it's your day. Also, you know what actually really helped me feel less stressed and overwhelmed is maybe the week before, my sweet neighbor Ellen was talking to me about her wedding forever ago, and was like, you know what you need to hear is, little things go wrong day of, the only people probably that know are you and the groom. No one else is gonna know. So that did help me. Like, there were little things day of that I noticed, like, oh, that was supposed to be a little different. Oh, this person was supposed to sit there. Or like, this member of the band was missing. We were so sad. This one member of our band that we were so excited for. But see, I'm like, only Max and I booked the band. Only Max and I see that one person is missing, and there's someone else. Who knows if he was sick, whatever. We're the only ones that know. Everyone's like, that was the best band ever. That was the best reception ever, best dance floor. So like, little things, you know, if something is wrong, whatever, like, you're probably the only one that notices, so it doesn't matter. Like, it's totally fine. Yes, but I have so many thoughts on that. Definitely go listen to my podcast episode. I probably talk about that more. This says, week of, was I able to sleep at all? Did I feel anxious? Again, each day that got closer, I cared less and less about things that I thought I would care about so much. Like, I think of in January, or even 3 months out, 6 months out, I remember being so stressed about what I was gonna look like, if my dress was gonna fit perfectly. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I feel comfortable in my dress. I don't want to feel like I didn't try as hard as I could to be in the best shape. And I remember feeling stressed about that. The closer I got, the less I cared. Like, I just was having the most fun summer. I was like on Nantucket for a day, drinking all day with my friends, or drinking mudslides, and I was like, wait, I literally don't care. I don't care to put the most pressure on myself to eat only clean foods at home and work out all day every day. I was like, that's not me. And I look how I look, and I want to feel like me and look like me on my wedding day, and be able to try on my dress in a year and not have it, like, never be able to put it on ever again. I don't want to be shocking to my guests. I remember hearing that as right. They're like, don't go try to lose a ton of weight. You don't want to like shock your guests and scare them. You want to look like you, feel like you. And yeah, I just felt like I was in the best mindset. The closer I got, I was like, I'm living my best life. I'm having so fun. I'm not stressing about the workouts and the body image of it all and the food. Like, I'm just gonna do the best I can. If I can fit in some movement the days leading up to the wedding, the weeks leading up to the wedding, I have a lot of like last minute things to wrap up and decisions. So if I can't, it's fine. If I can, it's fine. You know, I'm gonna try to drink water, mix in a protein and a vegetable. If not, that's okay. Like, I was just so go with the flow, and I feel like letting go of the pressure of it all and just not letting myself feel stressed about it was was so freeing, and I feel like allowed me to feel like the best version of myself. And I'm so glad that I had that mindset, and I was just like so excited. Yeah, this says, okay, did I feel like just able to sleep at all? Actually was able to sleep. I felt this very calm peacefulness the closer I got to the week of my wedding, the night before, day of. I felt so calm and peaceful, which I was not expecting, because I'm like very easily overwhelmed and I can be very stressed and anxious. Like, and I was just like, here we are. Like, I can't believe today's the day. I'm so excited to see Max. I remember feeling anxious, like good anxious, like good stress, like butterflies, like night before Christmas feeling, you know, Christmas Eve. And it felt like, I remember leaving for my first look being like, whoa, like me and all my bridesmaids are ready. Like, here we freaking go. Like, the day is really about to begin, and I'm so excited to see him, and I'm excited for him to see me in my dress, and I'm like nervous, but it all good nerves. And yeah, I slept like a baby. And like, of course, the night before I was up late with my bridesmaids, my sister, talking after our rehearsal dinner, wedding welcome party, but probably didn't sleep enough. But like, I slept great. Like, I was just, it felt so right and so meant to be. And yeah, it's so funny, like my whole engagement era, my bridal era, I remember thinking like, okay, I'm sure I'll have a meltdown at some point, or like the closer I get, I'm like ready for this crash out that's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be like really existential and like questioning my life decisions, and like, should I be getting married now, and oh my gosh, I'm 28, and like, what does all this mean, and like big freak out. And that never happened. I was like, oh, I guess I made the right decision, married the right person, because I felt so calm and excited and peaceful and wasn't questioning anything, wasn't freaking out, nothing existential. So yeah. Okay, next up, did I like having different looks? Yes, I did. I have so many thoughts about this, because this is something that was also swirling around in my brain so much as a fiance in my bridal era leading up to my wedding, and people have so many different opinions on it. I kept seeing so many brides on TikTok being like, what are you doing with all these different looks? You are going to be so in love with your wedding dress, you are not going to want to take that off. Like, this is your one day to wear it. Keep your wedding dress on from your ceremony all night long. And that started to stress me out, because I was planning on different looks, and I was like, oh my gosh, am I not going to want to take off my dress? Like, what have I done? I have these other looks. But then what made me feel better is I was like, you know what? If I don't feel like changing, I don't have to. Like, yes, I got those other dresses and that would sting to not put them on, but I just like wasn't really putting pressure on it. I'm like, if I want to keep this on all night long, it's okay. Like, we're going to play it by ear. But I have my ceremony dress, my reception dress, and an after party dress. Same with the night before. I last minute was like loving this other dress that I thought about maybe for my bachelorette, but then it was so good, I had to save it. And I was like, my rehearsal dinner dress, I loved so much, a silky gown, but it was very like open in the front, open in the back. And I know me, and I was like, okay, after a couple hours in that dress, especially, God forbid, I also know me, I'm very clumsy at rehearsal dinner. If I like get any drinks or food on it, that's like a whole moment in itself. And then a big long 45-minute ride back to our welcome party. I'm like, I could see me being ready for an outfit change. I'm like, is that crazy to switch in between? But I'm like, why don't I just have the option if I'm ready for something fresh, whatever. And that's exactly what happened. I was like, you know what? I think I did spill my drink on this. I feel like uncomfortable in this and like hot and sweaty, and I'm ready for just like something fresh to put on for the rest of the night. And I'm so glad I was able to do the outfit change for my welcome party. And then same with every other outfit change on my wedding day. Ended up being, I was most worried about changing out my ceremony ball gown into my reception dress, because I was like, my ceremony ball gown is like so perfect and so beautiful, that Monique Lillier lace perfection. I was like, I'm not gonna want to take this off. Like, I know me, I'm gonna be so sad to take it off. However, like I said, I mentioned earlier, ended up raining a little bit during our ceremony. So I was actually feeling like my curls are falling out of my hair, they're a little damp, my dress is a little wet, the bottom is probably like getting dirty, and I was like, wait, I'm like ready to put on my second dress that's like crisp and white and clean and dry. And so that ended up working out perfect, and it was way easier to do on my reception dancing, my first dance in that dress. So I'm so glad that I had these outfit change options. Then by the end of our reception, that dress was so sweaty, so dirty, so incredibly dirty. Everyone pray that the place I sat on my dresses to get cleaned and preserved can get that one clean, because they were like, yikes. Like, the bottom 4 inches were just like black, like covered in wet mud from the dance floor. I don't know, they was so dirty. Lucy gave me a big hug and was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, my foundation on my face is like all over the back of the dress. So it got very dirty, and I was sweaty, and I was like ready for the outfit change. And I envisioned me and all my bridesmaids in our mini dresses for the after party. So it was so perfect that I had the option to put on that Nadine Marabi sparkly, fringy, feathery white mini dress. It was so perfect. So when I tell you I couldn't have planned the outfit changes better, and it was like any moment that I was like, ooh, I'm kind of like uncomfortable and like ready to be in something new, it was like the perfect time, and I was ready to change something new. So I'm so glad I had my different looks. And again, if you're worried about like, no, I love my wedding dress so much, I'm not gonna want to change out of it, literally get like a cheap little white dress, like whatever. It doesn't have to be something crazy, but just in case for your after party, if you're like, oh, I got this white dress at Target on Revolve on sale, like it doesn't matter, it can be like any old white dress. But if you are feeling like really uncomfortable and like you want a mini dress to dance in or whatever it is, it could be good to just have the option, especially if you feel like you might not want to change out. Get something more affordable, like it doesn't need something crazy. So yes, that's that. I'm so glad that I have that. Okay, come on, Gretchen, you could do it. I'm talking too long about each thing. What did I find most impactful in terms of prep? Okay, I keep getting these questions on TikTok as well, and I want to do like a series and like answer everyone's questions. So I wrote some notes on here. Got very lazy with my new face. I was, 6 months out, I was like every day using that thing, and as I got closer again, I was like prioritizing social fun summertime with my friends, and I was like not doing that every day. So I don't think that did much. I did it like months out. Okay, what I think made the biggest difference, because how my physical fitness, I don't think I changed at all, like my body at all. I maybe lost like 3 pounds probably from not drinking enough water, probably from not doing enough elements. Bridget said, oh my gosh, how'd you do your transformation? I'm like, people, I didn't look any different. My measurements from last summer until now, like nothing has changed. I did try to eat at home more and like prioritize protein and just, but unfortunately it's like all the things you already know and the things that feel best. I'm like, oh, eating at home more, drinking more water, not eating just like highly processed foods that make you feel like junk, prioritizing protein. Like that's what I was kind of trying to do with that. I was just trying to stay active. I really, in the beginning, I'm like, weightlifting and walking, whatever. And then I had to do what I always end up doing, is which just feels best for me every day. I kind of just go day by day. How am I feeling? I'm like, could I do a workout? Oh, I'm feeling like I have a lot of energy today. I'm gonna get on my SoulCycle spin bike. I'm just feeling like I want to get some work done on my phone. I'm just gonna try to walk on my walking pad for like a half an hour or 45 minutes. Or I'm feeling Pilates. I feel like I did a lot of low impact. My sister Trace, you guys know, has her bar classes. Probably did those the most of anything, just because I had her motivating me, and it was nice to follow along, and I could do it from everywhere on a mat, just light weights, and you feel just really like lengthened, tightened, toned. So I really like the way that those were making me feel. I was doing Sydney's strength workouts, I would say more so like January, February, March, April, before we came back from the summer, because in our apartment building we had a gym, so I was like doing heavier weights then, a lot of walking. Yeah, but I feel like I really didn't change at all, but it just felt good to feel like I was trying a little bit, and it just, mentally, physically, it felt like my best. Staying active. But what I found honestly the most impactful is I was really focused on my skincare, because I was like, okay, I want to feel the most beautiful on my wedding day, and everyone's looking at your face, and the makeup is on the skin. Like the basis of everything is the skin in the photos and the videos. You want the makeup to look good, but it's on the skin. And I have such dry skin, and I really struggle with perioral dermatitis, a lot of red dry patches around my mouth. I'm like, Gretchen, focus, you can do this. I'm still struggling with the perioral dermatitis, haven't figured that out, but all I knew is I needed to have the most hydrating, like be on top of my skincare as much as I could. So I always heard brides say, like 6 months out from your wedding, start doing, I was going to say hyaluronic acid, no facials, hydrofacials. I did hyaluronic acid, I'll talk about that. Hydrofacials like once a month. I don't even think I was good with the keeping up with once a month. Maybe I did 3 or 4 leading up to my wedding. I feel like that helped a lot. It's unfortunate because these skincare things can be pricey, but unfortunately I think are actually very worth it. And especially for this one event, this one time in your life, I think it'd be really worth it. So hydrofacials, I actually didn't do, you guys know, I do like very minimal Botox in my forehead. I haven't done it in a while. I have like most all my movement back. I do minimal Botox there, like around my eyes. Anywhere else, I did a lip flip a while ago that I didn't do. I actually tested that out maybe like a year before my wedding, and I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna do this for my wedding. I feel like it makes my smile look a little bit different. I just want to be more natural. Have done master Botox too. Oh, there's actually some, I need to do a full TikTok series, all the things I got done. Also got trap Botox. The nickname is like Barbie Botox. I remember my injector was like, oh, the brides love this, especially if you have the strapless dress, it can kind of like elongate the neck and all the things. I maybe notice a little bit of difference from that. If you feel like you have really strong traps, maybe try that out. But it can get so expensive because Botox is like per unit. You need a lot in the traps because they're like big muscles. Anyway, I feel like I really didn't go crazy with the Botox leading up to the wedding. A lot of people will do 6 or 8 weeks out from their wedding. I maybe did like 3 months before, even more, because I wanted it to wear off. I wanted to have more of like a natural look for that. Okay, but yes, skincare. So hydrofacials, and did some dermaplaning. I'm trying to think anything else. That's like all I did for that. What I really did is stuck with my gentle cleanser once a day. Any old gentle cleanser, I don't care about that. And I was like on the hunt to find what would help my dry skin the most. My friend, shout out Lexi, worked at a med spa and knows all about this stuff, and recommended the PCA hyaluronic acid serum for me, and was like, it is gonna transform your dry skin. It really did. Unfortunately, it's pricey. Can't link it for you guys, but yes, it's so good. I use that like religiously leading up to the wedding. I also had a moment of doing a retinol, like the Skin Better retinol, that was recommended by where I was getting my facials too, because it's like I was trying to do the medical grade skincare, which again, unfortunately is pricey, but I feel like I actually noticed such a difference with it because it's like good stuff. So I did the retinol for a couple months, and then I started to feel like it was too much for my skin, and I was still having a lot of dryness. And maybe like a month or 2 before my wedding, I think the the girl I started going to here for facials was like, just hang on for the retinol, maybe just like pause that leading up to your wedding because you just want to be like as most hydrated as you can. So I wasn't even doing the retinol, I was doing the hyaluronic acid serum, gentle cleanser, moisturizer. Honestly, my favorite moisturizer that I use for the whole past year is from the drugstore, the La Roche-Posay moisturizer, and that with the PCA hyaluronic acid and the Omnilux Red Light mask. Oh my gosh, how could I forget? I think that is what I was the most consistent with my skincare, and I feel like that's what made the most difference. This is literally the longest answer, sorry. But yes, that's also pricey, unfortunately, but I also feel like it makes a difference because it's also medical grade and helps even skin tone, redness, boost collagen, tighten all of the things. So I started to be really good with that because I remember the facials I saw back in Utica when we were there was like, oh, you have that good Omnilux one? She's like, Gretchen, if you use that every day, your skin will be literally perfect at your wedding. She was like, that makes such a difference, and that motivated me because I was using it probably like once a week, whatever. I started using it like every day, and I haven't been good with it post-wedding. I need to get back on the grind of everything, and just I felt like I was so on top of my skincare every morning. It was like ingrained in my brain. I would like wake up, brush my teeth, do my skincare in the morning. I would just rinse my face, do some moisturizer, maybe some hyaluronic acid serum, and at night. So I kept it very simple, but I was very consistent. And yeah, wow, sorry, that was like the longest answer. I do have to do a full breakdown on TikTok of all the things I got done. The laser hair removal of it all, the whitening the teeth of it all. Oh my gosh, do not recommend that. That was the most painful thing in my life, but I'll get into that on TikTok. Okay, next up, non-negotiables that were worth the splurge. Fortunately, a lot of things are worth the splurge if we read it. But see, that's also just me. I feel like you just have to know yourself. I know me, I'm extremely nostalgic, sentimental. I knew this one day was gonna be so important to me, and I kept being like, it's our one day, like we have to go all out. But then that's hard when you start saying that for every little decision. You have to like, you know where to cut back sometimes. Specifically, I wrote down the things that were worth the splurge. Flowers, florist. They are so expensive. I'm so happy we splurged on this. Our flowers were so gorgeous. I love the way they turned out so much, and it just sets the vibe of the whole day. And I love flowers. They're so beautiful, and I always notice them at weddings I go to, and I just wanted it to feel so coastal Cape Cod, summer, very us, pastels. I didn't want to just do white and blue hydrangeas because I say that at every wedding ever. No offense if you did that. I just wanted to be a little bit different, and I love pink. I want to feel very me. Yeah, we just did a lot of pastels, light pink, light yellow, light blue, white, light orange, and our florist did such an amazing job. J. Landry or Beach Plum Floral. She goes under both, and Jill was amazing. So good. Also, for me specifically in what I do, photo and video, those were definitely our priority vendors that we booked very early on, and luckily I had the best wedding planner ever. How have I not even said her name yet? Carrie, shout out, from Always Yours Events. And I'll get into this. I'll talk more about like the whole wedding planning process, but she was so helpful in helping us pick our vendors and recommending specific ones based on like what she knew about me and what was important to me, and ones that she's worked with and for how they'd work at our venue. So it was like, I can't even put it was invaluable. Is that the word? Incredible to have the best wedding planner ever. And like, yeah, just so helpful. So photo and video, Christina Adams for photography, and then Astoria Films was our videographer. Definitely like splurge a little bit, if you will, but obviously for what I do with social media, I knew those photos and videos would be so important to me. Again, also just who I am as a person, extremely sentimental, nostalgic. I knew I'd be looking back at them forever. It's like our one day, and I knew that I really wanted to take our time and look at all the options for photographers and videographers, and I'm so glad we did that. And I was like, there is more of a budget here. Like, the price we will pay for these vendors will be so worth it, and they were. Band, also live band, full band was so important to Max and I from weddings that we have been to. You have so much fun with the live band, and yeah, I just remember, I'm like thinking back to last May, so over a year out, we booked photo, video, band, florals. Yeah, I think that's like what we started with because that's just like what was the most important to us. But if you have other aspects that are most important to you as a couple, start there. And yeah, we went through Night Shift Entertainment. Our band was called Hudson, and they were amazing. The saxophone on the dance floor. And again, like I talked about earlier, there was like one member of the band that stood out to us. That's why we booked that. And then they weren't able to come on the wedding day. But see, it didn't matter at all, and no one else would know. So yeah, that's that. They said, how did I decide on yellow for bridesmaids, and how did they pick their dresses? I had always thought about light pink or light yellow for my bridesmaids. I could not decide for literally a year, and then I was like, okay, I have have to decide. And I just went with my gut, and I felt like I had seen light pink Bridesmaids done so well so many times, and I felt like yellow hadn't been done as much. And also all of you were always like, you have to be doing yellow, you have such a yellow aura, yellow's so you, and happy hour. And it just seemed so fitting. I also got engaged in a light yellow dress, felt like a good omen. And then now, of course, in 2025, I feel like butter yellow is like the color of the year. I swear every single wedding will have butter yellow bridesmaids this year, but that's okay. I'm like, okay, we just have to do it really good then. And this is how did they pick their dresses. I remember first when I decided yellow, I was like, okay, so we should probably do like the same brand, or somehow can you guys all ship them to me, because we got to make sure the exact same shade. And then I started to think, I have 10 bridesmaids. I actually don't care if they're different shades at all. If they're all different shades of yellow, I'm sure it'll be beautiful and it'll all work and be cohesive. Like, there's 10 of them, so that was kind of a positive. There's so many of them that I was like, if they're all slightly different, I think it'll look good and it'll look like a variety. And actually in photos and videos, they all ended up looking very similar, but they were all different brands and all different shades, and it worked out fine. And I just see like little things in the beginning, I was like, oh, stressing about it, like, is this gonna work? The closer I got, I was like, I don't care, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be fine. And it was. And that way they got to stay in the price range they wanted to stay in and make sure that they were comfortable and happy, and it worked out great. So I'm so glad that we did it that way. And also, I don't think we even went with, if any of them did like the traditional bridesmaid store go in fitting, any of that. They were ordering on Pepper Mayo, on Revolve, anything that was just easy for them, you know? Okay, this says, how long did it take a bridal party of my size to get ready? So I was very worried about this week of, and it ended up not being an issue at all, because I've been to weddings, or the weddings I've been in, I feel like it always takes longer than you think getting ready the morning of. The morning of getting ready with the bride flies by, and it's always like, oh my gosh, it's 2 o'clock, they need to go for their first look, or we need to leave for the venue, and this girl's still getting their hair curled, and oh my gosh, we didn't get the getting ready photo. Like, it's always something. And so I remember I kept saying to my wedding planner, I'm like, there is 13 of us total, because there's me, my 10 bridesmaids, that's 11, plus the 2 moms, 13. And we have 3 makeup girls, 2 hair girls. Like, is this actually gonna work? Like, 2 girls doing hair, that means 7 and 6, like, in only this many hours. She's like, oh, I think we could start at maybe like 8:30. I'm like, really? Because I feel like I've been in weddings, you start at like 6:37. She's like, no, it'd be totally fine. Like, they've done so many weddings, they're the pros. If anything, they start early. And I like couldn't believe it, but I was like, let go and let God. I'm just gonna trust. And I believe the first one started, Lucy, Chase, yeah, started at 8:30, and I couldn't believe we were all ready at 2, like fully ready. No one was later behind. It worked out perfect. So I guess that's 6 hours, but I feel like it sometimes takes longer. It really depends on how many girls you have doing hair and makeup, how much experience they have doing bridesmaids. Also, maybe everyone being really aware of what they're getting into. Like, I was warning the girls doing hair. I was like, a lot of us have a lot of hair. There's like a lot of extensions. My twin sister Lucy has the thickest hair on planet Earth. There's a lot of long hair, a lot of thick hair, a lot of extensions. Like, and they were all like, okay, we're prepared, we're ready to go. Also communicating to the bridesmaids, hey, show up with clean, dry hair, because if you show up with clean, sopping wet hair, that's gonna add on a lot of time for them to like blow dry your hair. So I feel like that was helpful and like cut down on the time, things like that. I feel like we were very prepared. Next up, choices we made for our ceremony to feel special and personal. I am so glad that we had our officiant be my manager, Spencer, shout out, who feels like a brother to me. We have worked together for nearly a decade, and that was just the perfect decision. You know, we were going back and forth for a while. I knew that I wanted to be a friend or family member of ours, to just have it feel just like that, more personal and special. And I'm like, do I do my aunt? And then I was like, you know what? He's perfect, because I was thinking about personality types and who could like lead a ceremony, and also was close with Max and I knew us both so well. So that was literally one of the best decisions we made. Wedding planning, shout out Spencer, did such an amazing job. He took it so seriously. He's so well spoken. He's so good at like leading the energy of a group, and loves us both so much. We both spent so much time with him. It was so perfect. He memorized the whole thing, you guys. I need to brag about him. I could not believe it. Like, we only solidified it maybe like a month out, if that, maybe less than a month out. Max and I are like procrastinating, and he's like, okay, we need to be done so I can memorize. And I'm like, I did not expect you to memorize this 20-minute ceremony. Memorized, you guys. Fully memorized the whole thing. It was incredible. It made it even more like, whoa. And he was just like, I want to memorize it. It'll make it come out more like flowing and natural. And he did such an incredible job. We made our ceremony so us and so personal. Just like saying, like, how did we? We just did. We didn't do like a traditional script. We maybe followed like a traditional flow, but we had him say kind of like our whole love story, and we did our personal vows, and it felt very us the whole time. He spoke about my dad and Max's Nana, who are no longer with us, and that made it feel very personal and special, very us. We both spoke about them in our vows, and obviously the rain coming out of nowhere felt like such a sign from them. There were so many signs. Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about that too. But yeah, tailoring our ceremony to exactly how we want it to be, leaving out certain verbiage. I really don't like, I realize, like the whole like giving away and becoming like traditionally like one, like the man is like owning it, this camera, you know what I mean, like property of your husband. No, I didn't even like Mr. and Mrs. Maxwell Wellman, because I'm like, what about me? Like, why Mr. and Mrs. Maxwell? I'm like, but what about, but I'm Gretchen, you know? So I think we had ourselves introduced as, for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Wellman. Like I didn't like, I don't know, it just seems very like focused on the male. So little things like that we're able to tailor to ourselves, and not sponsored by, but I wish it was. Shout out Provenance, I believe is the name of the website. I kept getting Instagram ads, and basically if you're working remotely with your officiant like we were, because he doesn't live here on the Cape, we were going back and forth through this portal, and it has like scripts. It's kind of like an AI thing, I feel like, where you could answer questions with your groom, with your partner, and it will kind of put together like a format that's yours and how you want it, and then we were able to like edit it a bunch and tailor it from there, and it just made it so helpful working with officiant that way, because we were like, where do we even begin? We don't even know how to do this like at all. So yes, that was great. And then I started to talk about, next question, how I honored my dad on my wedding day. That's like such a top question I get asked. Spoke about him a lot at our ceremony, like we talked about. I ended up last minute, I was like, is it sad if I do the little photo of him on my bouquet? But I'm so glad I did that. Shout out Mandy, my cousin, got me the little framed like locket size photo of him that we pinned on my bouquet, and it felt like he was walking down the aisle. Also something I decided early on that I'm so glad I did this is I took one of his old dress shirts, one of my favorite ones. It's light purple with white stripes, and had my seamstress girl tailoring my dress cut out little hearts of that shirt and sew them on the inside of my dress. So I really felt like he was with me walking down the aisle. So it was really special. And also I feel like I'm forgetting other little things. Yeah, we spoke about him a lot to honor him, those little things. Also family photos. I'm so glad we did this again with just the theme of me being very sentimental, nostalgic, and I just want it to feel so full of love and so us. Our wedding weekend, we had a lot of family photos. So our cocktail hour, I think at our, do we have them at our welcome party? Maybe when you were first entering the ceremony, and by like the cake table, I think, at the reception, or by the bar, we had family photos like scattered around. So I had my mom bring photos from home, a big frame photo of her and my dad on their wedding day, her with her dad, like younger photos of me and Lucy with my dad, and then same with Max, photos of his Nana. Oh, this one was so sweet, photos of his grandparents on their wedding day, like so sweet and just felt so us, and I'm so glad we had that little detail, because we thought of so many things to honor my dad, Max's Nana, who he was so close to, that we lost very suddenly around the same time, because we were so close with them. We wanted them to feel like they were there, but we decided against like big framed photos of them at our ceremony up in the front row, because we were like, okay, this is starting to give really sad and maybe a little bit memorial service. We don't want that, you know. And I really thought of his mom, my mom, next to these framed photos of our loved ones that we've lost, and seeing them there and making them more sad. So we decided against that. But I know there's like so many different ways people honor family members that they have lost at their wedding. So yes, that's what we did. I may be forgetting little things, but yes, there were so many signs from them. Oh, I talk about that a bunch in my podcast too. Okay, next up, I need to omit some of these. This is gonna be the longest video ever. Can you explain the process a bit? How did you find your vendors? So long story short, high level, because I think I talked about this on the podcast, but I wanted to help you guys out. Sorry, this is like the end of the video. Now I'm having anxiety that this is such a long video. Okay, process a bit, how we found our vendors. So started with finding our venue, Chatham Parson, best place ever. I'm biased, but I love it there so much. I'm so glad that was our venue. It was like a dream. It just felt so right when we were looking last January of 2024, and I felt like I was seeing signs from my dad. I'm like, this is where I'm getting married. I just know it. And it was perfect. Started with venue and wedding planner and finding those. Honestly, those were the hardest things. Wedding planning, hardest decisions, because I think they're like the most important, and I felt so much stress picking wedding planner, because I was like, this will dictate how the rest of the wedding planning goes and will help so much, and it really did. And I'm so glad we ended up with Always Yours events. Shout out again, Carrie is literally the best. It was so helpful that she had done weddings at our venue, because I was like, she knows what works here, she knows what vendors work best, and she really got to know me and Max as a couple, and I felt like made it so tailored to us and her vendor recommendations to us. So she really helped us find all of our vendors. Honestly, she was was like, okay, based on you and the vibe and what you want, here are the videographers I'd recommend you check out, here are the photographers I recommend you check out, here's the florist, here, you know. So I had options, and we kind of like talked about them all, went through their portfolios, if you will, and went from there. So a wedding planner is the most helpful thing on planet Earth. Unfortunately, they are expensive as well, but it keeps you sane in the wedding planning process, and you can find more affordable ones. And even if it's like a day of coordinator, because like that is so hard when you don't have a wedding planner, to be the bride and the guests of honor day of and also feel like you're running the whole show. Like, you need a little bit of help because there's so many moving pieces and logistics. So I feel so blessed that we were able to have the amazing wedding planners that we were. But yeah, the process is definitely venue first, wedding planner if you're going to do that, and just start knocking out the vendors one by one, probably in order of importance to you, but like the main ones, if that's photography, videography for you, florist, band. If you're, you know, not somewhere like at our venue, they did the food, the cake. That was a question I saw being like, how come you haven't tagged where you got the cake from? Because it was just from our venue, Chatham Barson. Made our cake. Those main things, like food, if you need to find a vendor for that, just go from there. It all comes together somehow, some way. Everyone said that to me when I was stressed like 2 weeks before, but it really does, and it'll be great. So yeah, that's a little bit of the process, how we find our vendors. Do we regret spending money on anything? No, I really don't. Of course, it ends up being more expensive than you think. Like, whatever your wedding budget is in your head that you're thinking of spending, like double that, and that's no, don't do that. But it always ends up being more than you think. But again, like along the way, if you're like, oh, we can upgrade to these linens, or we could upgrade to these chairs or whatever, and I was like, oh, it's our one day, like I really want to. So it's easy to get carried away, but you kind of have to be like, okay, does this actually matter? Will anyone even notice? Will I actually notice? You know, but I really don't regret spending money on anything because everything was so perfect and so us and so beautiful, and it was the best weekend ever. This says, what went wrong? Did you notice? Literally the smallest things. But it's crazy because again, we had the best wedding planning team. Probably more little things did go wrong, and I probably had no idea. I'd actually love to ask our planners, like, hey, did things go wrong that you didn't tell me about that you just like fixed quickly? I mean, the rain, but the second I noticed raindrops were dropping on my arms, I look out and they're handing everyone umbrellas, so it's like they were just on it, which was so helpful. The only thing I noticed was the one band member missing. It's totally fine. Oh, this is like more of a regret. Not even something that went wrong, but I felt like I was just this is so dumb of me. It's a small, this is our big wedding problem. It's not bad at all. We decided to have alternating flavors for our layered cake and have like a chocolate and white chocolate filling layer, and then a vanilla and like champagne strawberry filling layer. And day of, I felt like I just kept getting the chocolate, and I was like, wait, the vanilla I think is way better. I wish that we just went with the vanilla and the champagne. I'm like, I regret getting like a chocolate layer wedding cake. Like, I felt like we needed options of both. I'm like, I wish I just got the vanilla because that's what I like more. So that's just a regret. That was so stupid of me. Nothing that actually went wrong. It was exactly what we chose. So yes, probably more things went wrong that I didn't notice at all. I was just having the best day. Okay, literally my battery's dying now, so I need to be cut off. Did we have anyone no show? And no, I was worried about this because I've been to weddings where like week of multiple people cancel and it messed up your signature. Oh, actually, this is the tea. One person, but it was like a very unique instance where I was told that this guest had just had a breakup, unfortunately, like literally right before they came to the wedding. And they were like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. He is not going to be in attendance because we just broke up. And I was like, oh, okay, this is good to know, so we won't have his seat and like little place card out. Probably found it like 2 days before, but it was like totally fine. It was literally 1%, totally fine. But yeah, I was worried about like last minute cancels, but like no one did. Everyone was so good. Anything we weren't going to do but decided to do last minute? Yes, this one thing that I'm so glad we did. Again, don't regret the money. This was like a little bit pricey. So glad we did it. We ended up having a vendor who does draping in our venue just to make like the tented parts with the inside parts, because it was inside outside on the deck, just more cohesive and like more beautiful. So we had lots of draping like along the walls, along the tents. And last minute I was like, okay, because they were like, ooh, you have, you know, and the bump out tent over the head table for the reception where you have dinner and stuff, they're like, that tent has lights on it, so we can't do the draping above the table, like covering the lights. And I was like, oh, but that white bump out tent is like kind of old and I feel like there's like rips in it. And I was like, oh, it's like not cute. And then they're like, okay, we can do the draping. It'll be a little expensive to do it in a certain way, like between the lights, but I think it'll be more cohesive. Like, do you want to spend like a lot more money to do that? And I was like, you know what? It's our head table. Our wedding day is gonna need so many photos. Let's do it. I am so glad we did it. And photos and videos, having the blue draping above us was so beautiful. And if I saw the white old bump out tent with like rips in it and like dirt, I would have been upset. Sorry, CBI, I'm talking crap. Maybe like replace that tent because it's like a little old and giggle dusty. But I'm so glad we did that. See, little things looking back, I'm like, I don't regret spending any money. So worth it. Oh yeah. Okay, last question. Anything I would do differently? No. Stress less about the rain. Honestly, the moment in the ceremony, it did kind of rattle me for a second, and I was kind of like, you've got And if I could go back, I would tell myself, it's fine, it doesn't matter. And that's how I ended up at the end of the ceremony. I was like, I'm ready for my Hugo spritz. We did it. We didn't have to move inside. Everyone had an umbrella. It made it cozy. We did our vows. It was very dramatic. Yeah, if I could make that all sunny like it was literally 30 minutes prior, you guys, I just like can't. I need to like post these photos in my story. Our ceremony was at 4:30. At 4:06, 4:07, photos of our ceremony, full sun. Like when I tell you this rain, this thunder, it was literally like thunder and lightning, came in out of nowhere from heaven itself. My dad was like, send a big old sign right now. They need to feel my presence. It was crazy, but I don't think I would do anything differently. Okay, battery died. This is getting out of hand. Longest video ever. I was, hi you, saying I wish I could go back. Especially the reception, I feel like flew by because I was probably having so much fun dancing. Time flies when you're having fun. Like I wish I could do that all over again. It was literally the best day ever. Yeah, wow, I yapped for so long. I need like a drink of water. My throat is dry. Love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna have another podcast episode about it. You guys are probably like, shut up about the wedding, enough about it. But I feel like there's still so many little details to share and stuff to say. Yapped about it for 2 hours in the podcast. Just probably talk about it on here for an hour. And Max and I will probably have like another hour podcast episode. I'll try to hit even more questions I didn't get on here. Maybe more that like involve him. And we'll just do like a chit chat Q&A on there. So you guys can hear from him. Thanks for joining us, Brody. Oh my gosh, how did I not even say? Well, I've talked about this before. Also, one of the best decisions we made is having him come to cocktail hour. He walked around. Some people that I've never met him got to meet him. It was so fun. It was such like a highlight of the day. Ah, schmuckums. Okay, I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next one.